The country's power crisis has been a key focus at the Energy Symposium that was held this week. The women-led event explored ways to resolve this challenge as higher stages of load shedding persist. Yesterday, government lifted the national state of disaster that was declared in response to the blackouts. Let's unpack this for you now. Bring in the president of the International Women's Forum of South Africa, that's Irene Charnley, who joins us via our video link this morning. And Irene, it's lovely to see you. Thanks so much indeed for making time to speak to us. Tell us a bit more about this Energy Symposium and whether or not you've been able to come up with the kind of solutions that don't need a state of disaster in order to solve the energy crisis.
Thank you. Good morning, Ayanda, and good morning to your viewers. It's really a pleasure for me to be on your show. We are in a very, very important time in our country. So the International Women's Forum South Africa, together with the South African Women in Dialogue, convened a women energy consortium. As you know, the people who bear the brunt of the energy crisis are actually women. So we convened this just Tuesday, a few days ago, where all various organizations came together, to leverage their own expertise and their influence, and they agreed to collaborate in an outcomes-driven symposium. And this is what our Women Energy Symposium is about. The symposium was sponsored by Standard Bank, the platform on which we operated on. And we thought that as a woman organization, let our voices be heard. Let us emerge as a collective with practical solutions that we can actually come together, present to the executive to say, here is solutions which have been developed by women experts, women organizations, women businesses, and let us assist to implement it because we are the people who are bearing the brunt of this crisis at the moment. So we had a very, very successful event, and it was all solutions driven. It was the first part of the symposium, and a number of issues that women are starting to address. One of the issues that they've raised is how can we contribute an increasing national generation and supply of energy, whether it is through the solar, wind, gas, or cleaner coal power generation. We've had about 5 broad areas that we looked at, and we can discuss that also further with you,
As a start, though, it's so interesting. I think for much of our time, we've kind of spoken broadly about the impact of load shedding on South Africans, on the country, on the economy. But it's never really been an intersectional discussion, right? For instance, we've never really looked at it through a gendered lens, so to speak. So tell us a bit more about why it was so important for you to go down that route specifically.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ayanda. Very, very important. The gender issue is very key because we all agree that the crisis, the energy crisis, are causing great human and economic hardships. But what does it bring? It brings darkness and heightened insecurity to women, to girls, to the LGBTQ plus community. They live in fear of violent crime, gender-based violence, on a daily basis. Can you imagine? It's dark, the lights are off, traffic lights are not working, alarm systems are not working, garages are not working. Women, whether you are walking, taking the train or the taxi or driving in your car, is just danger. So we have, in addition to that, a growing number of families. They find it very, very difficult just to meet their basic daily needs because of the long periods without having power. And many of them, women are the ones who have to do the to do the cooking. There's no lights, no warm water. There's connectivity to mobile phones. It's a big, big, big problem. And the people most impacted on this are women and children, as well as our LGBTQ community. So in addition to that, the small businesses, how does it affect it? Run by women, organized by women, women entrepreneurs. people who, and what about the people, women as well, who've lost their jobs, you know, in restaurants, in shops, shorter working hours, women who've lost their jobs in factories, you know, the informal sector. These are all women managing all of these different industries, sectors, small business entrepreneurs who are being impacted by the crisis. And that is why we as women organizations, women leaders, we have come together to say it is high time that women's voices are heard in this. Everybody's talking, you know, you have experts everywhere coming up with solutions. It's now time for us as women to come up with the solutions. So we are now going to answer all of these particular questions. How do we even get municipals and microgrids to distribute energy? How can we actually lower the household usage during peak times for cooking, cleaning, during a particular time, let's say from 5 to 9, you know, practical solution on that. How can we assist women to have access to short-term funding, capital requirements from various organizations? I mean, we have both Standard Bank and IDC who presented practical solutions of how women, organizations, and even businesses can have access to funding to help solving our solutions.
That's interesting. To what extent are you worried that the scrapping of the state of disaster on electricity might scupper your own plans, you know, these very woman-centric solutions to the energy crisis?
But when we heard about the scrapping of the Disaster Act, the first view was, oh, our oversight is working. That means that if there's something has been picked up early, if there's some legalities, some issues that's there, the oversight of the structures are working and they intervened early to stop this. And for us, it doesn't matter. We have to pursue as women the solutions that we need to come up with. I mean, it's very, very important for us that also we have effective campaigns and a united action against crimes. I mean, we see the sabotage of the power stations, supply chain corruption, cable theft, illegal electricity connections. How does women in the communities, how can we get together to help solve those particular items? And these and crises that we are in, you know, the debates, the discussions, all the individual experts, you know, that talk about the crisis over coffee and lunches, etc., and the comfort of restaurants and homes, that has to come to a stop now. Now we have to come up with a solution. And the women want to be part of that solution. We have to be part of the solutions because 1 in every 2 people are women in this country.
It's an interesting approach to this problem. Thanks for giving us your take. Appreciate your time on the AM Report this morning.